I'm alive, it says. So I guess it must be true. Well, it says I'm live, but I'm going to say alive. George, wow. A blast from the past. No, I froze. Did you guys see me? Anyway, George, I said a blast from the past. George, how are you? Lynn, good morning. Lynn and Dave. Joanne, good morning. All right, here we are. How is everyone doing? What's going on today? Hopefully, I'm coming in. I've had my internet fixed, so hoping that's not going to be an issue anymore. Can you guys hear me? Let me know if I'm coming in clear. I don't know what it is about Saturday, because Saturday there shouldn't be any issues. Most people are not working and using the internet, so I should have lots of upload speed without being bothered. So can you hear me? Okay, good. Coming in fine as wine. Okay, great. All right, perfect. All right, I want to show you all something. So I'm going to call the practice fruits of my labor or our labor. So here's my watermelon I grew, and it's so heavy. And this is my first watermelon I'm going to eat this year. It's got a lot of specks on it. That's how you pick out a watermelon. I don't know if you know that, but if you look for the sugar bursting through the skin, that's how you know it's a sweet watermelon. But this is so heavy. I mean, I don't know how heavy this is, but it's more than 5 pounds. So anyway, I just picked it today. I'm going to see my nephew, and I've got him as my watermelon king. So him and I plant watermelons together. And what I have to say is that over the months when I planted this, I'm not sure how long ago I did, I just realized like the importance of caring for your vegetables or fruits. And so I water these often, and pick the weeds out. And I thought, gosh, it's like everything that's living, we have to constantly take care of it. Water, give it water, nutrient dense soil. So that's my watermelon I wanted to show you. And then my other thing, now this probably is representative of about 15% of my yield because I planted like 24 bushes. Anyway, these are my heirloom tomatoes. So I just wanted to show you. And again, I have to water these and nurture them, different varieties, pick them out, plant them, give them nutrition. Here's one of my favorites. I think it's called Beef Master. Anyway, my tomatoes and my watermelon. So let me see. Much better than last week. Good, Joanne. Yeah, last week I was really fuzzy, right? Wasn't I blurry for you all? Stevie, good morning. Yeah, my watermelon's great, right? And then you saw my tomatoes. Okay, so anything in particular that any of you have going on that you want to manage or deal with? Shoulders, back. It's been 2.5 years almost, and there's not a lot of guidance on what you guys need. But I'll tell you what I notice, especially in my private sessions with people, is definitely a lot of shoulders. You know, it started off pre-pandemic. There was a lot of knee stuff, but I'm really seeing that there's back and shoulder issues. Let me see. Yeah, Joanne. I have my own farmer's market. I know. Well, I'm going to see my family today. So I'm going to take tomatoes to them. And I've also got basil that I grow. So I'm going to take basil from my garden. But I'm also going to be making something called shrubs. I don't know if you've heard of that. Not the shrubs that have sugar, though. I want to make digestive shrubs. And I want to make some yummy ones like tomato basil. So anyway, yes, eating lots of fruit, right? Tomatoes are fruit. And honestly, heirloom tomatoes are really a fruit. You see why they call it a fruit. All right, just one more. I know somebody said something. I just want to see what. Carolyn, good morning. Hip flexors and hamstrings. Okay, George, thanks. All right. Okay, so let's practice. I have to say that I've been feeling very strong lately, and I accredit that to every time I show up here. Every single time I'm here, and I'm so grateful that this is what I do, that yoga found me, or I found yoga, or whatever that is. I'm so grateful to have this practice because everything you do is building up and adding up. And I'm gonna butcher this quote, but it's by Socrates. He says, in order to have change, in order to have something, in order to experience change or progression, you need to not focus on the old, but instead focus your energy on the new. And so right now, today, here, whatever it is you need, strength, flexibility, range of motion, stress management, deeper breath, peace, whatever it is, this is what we're going to be doing and focusing on. This is you taking care of you, mind and body, which is so powerful. So let's get ready for the practice. The strap, we're going to use the strap today because I'd really like to get into the nooks and crannies of your feet, your ankles, your knee, your hip, and really start to loosen and soften you up from the ground up, so to speak, because you are a tensegrity unit, connected, everything. And so for some of you, issues you have may be because your foot is tight or something. And yesterday I was working with a lady trying to help her with some of her hip issues. She had a hip replacement. And we were doing something that wasn't related to feet. And she said, I feel this in my ankle. And I'm like, wow. So really everything is related. And so whatever we do is going to be loosening and softening and creating space in your body, which will create space in your mind and in your happiness quotient when you can do more things. A block, a blanket, a mat, and then let's begin. All right. So I would like us to do a grounding breath using our block as a gauge for how effective we are at actually using the diaphragm, the primary breathing muscle that's around the lower ribs, to really effectively breathe deeply. Because when this moves, you actually stimulate the relaxation zone, the parasympathetic nervous system. And that's going to have a positive, healthy domino effect on many body systems. So we're going to use the block on our belly, trying to get it to rise and fall, using the sense of feel, eyes are closed, and that connection of this moment with the block, with you, with your body. So put your blanket up at the top. It could be folded a decent amount, so that you're comfortable. And then let's come down onto the ground with awareness. Bring yourself to the side. Bring yourself all the way down onto the ground. Have the blanket be underneath your head only. Keep your knees bent at first, and then close your eyes. Start to arrange yourself. So push your feet into the ground, lift your pelvis up, and then place it back down. Feel that connection at the sacrum, the base of your spine in the mat. And then bring your awareness to your shoulder blades. Notice if one is pressing into the floor more than the other, or just notice where they are. And then let's align ourselves properly here and let gravity help to stretch some of those little muscles in the shoulders and on the spine. Press your arms into the ground, lift your rib cage away from the ground, and slide the shoulder blades closer together. Let the shoulder blades rest on the floor, rib cage resting. Let your feet be wider than your body. Notice if arranging your shoulder blades did anything to your low back. And it may for a lot of you actually. So let's put your feet into the ground, lift your pelvis away from the floor, tilt your pelvis back as if you were trying to flatten the low back into the ground. Pull your pelvis away from your rib cage, so lengthen the low back, and then slowly place the spine down onto the floor until you feel the weight rocking towards the center of the pelvis where the sacrum is. Let your feet be a little wider than your body, and then allow your knees to fall in towards each other. Take your hands on your belly, spread your fingers, close your eyes, close your mouth, and begin to breathe down to your belly. And start to feel your belly moving with breath. Mouth is closed, breathing in and out through the nose. And we breathe in and out the nose. That supports your immune health, your cardiovascular health, your nervous system, which will then affect all other systems, your hormones, metabolism. So begin to connect. Eyes are closed, breathing down to your belly. Feel your hands rise and fall with breath. Notice if the rib cage is expanding up above by the heart, or is this mainly your belly moving? Use the entire diaphragm around the front of the ribs, the side of the ribs, and the back of the ribs to move downward, feeling that downward pressure, your lower torso. And then reach your hand to the side, grab your block. Place your block onto your belly. Keep the elbows around the waist and see if you could open up the arms so that the back of the hands come towards the ground, maybe touching the ground. This is rotator cuff, gives you a little idea of what level of tightness you have in your rotator cuff, in your shoulders. And then begin to slide the back of the hands up higher, slowly with your eyes closed. Beginning to feel a stretch in the chest and the shoulders, maybe in the front of the spine, to a place where the stretch is deep and appropriate. Maybe you notice things at the back of the shoulder blade area, the spine. Noticing what you notice and bringing your arms into a place where you could let them rest, where you appropriately feel a strong stretch. Knees are touching each other, resting on each other, feet are wider than your body. Mouth is closed, breathing in through your nose. Breathe down to your belly and feel the block rise and fall with breath. Breathing down low, letting the breath rise and fall. Feel the whole part of your body below your rib cage. Feel a lot of pressure created when you breathe in, creating what's called intra-abdominal pressure. See if you could create as much pressure as possible, breathing all the way down to your diaphragm, down to your legs. Take 3 more breaths like this, big, deep breaths. Finishing that last breath, let the breath go. Let your kneecaps point up towards the sky, wiggle your fingers. Take the block off to the side. Rock your knees in one at a time. Rock side to side, close your eyes, rock across the back top edge of your pelvis, and rock slowly side to side. Low back pressing towards the floor or into the floor. Go slow as you rock side to side, massaging the tendinous part of the low back muscles, where the low back muscles attach onto your pelvis. So oftentimes muscular issues are at the tendinous part where the muscles attach to the bones. So go side to side across, like all the way side to side, across the top edge of your pelvis, loosening and softening the attachment of the low back muscles to the pelvis. Then bring your feet onto the ground. Bring your hands back to the side, either straight out to the side or elbows bent, arms are up, or palms are up towards the sky. Then walk your feet wide off the mat and then walk them away from you. Close your eyes so you feel this. Kneecaps are pointing up towards the sky. Let's do a little side to side with the kneecaps without letting the soles of the feet rock off the floor. So starting to slowly lubricate the hip joint, the hip flexors, the core muscles, and even the back muscles when you start to let your weight shift from side to side. So feel this in your body, side to side. Then start to go a little bit bigger, letting the soles of the feet come off the floor. Close your eyes so you can feel what's appropriate. You are going to be using back muscles here, so be careful. Inner thighs, hip flexors, back muscles, all the parts of you that attach to your pelvis, warming up your pelvis. See if you could feel the weight going all the way to one buttock, through the center to the other side. And then slow it down a little. Let's use the breath. So inhale when you let your legs go to the side and let your head roll in the opposite direction. Exhale, contract your core to come up to center. Inhale, opposite direction with the head to the knees. Exhale, protect your back and your core to come back to center. Go slow with awareness. Close your eyes. The rib cage is stationary and locked in the ground, and you're moving the lower body and the head. So helping to disrupt tension in your body from your daily activities. Go a little farther, letting your knee move into the side and away from you. Try to unbend that hip joint, pushing it up towards the sky. Pay attention to the low back when you do this. Press your belly button to your spine to protect your low back. Really lengthen your whole side body. Let's get the hand involved, the arm. When the legs go to the side, the head goes opposite. Lift the arm off the ground that's opposite of the direction of the knees, the same direction of the head, and really reach long on your inhale. Exhale, contract back to center. Knees go in one direction, head goes in the other, and the arm lifts away from the ground and lengthens opposite of the knees. Exhale back to center. Inhale into a twist and stretch and lengthen. Exhale back to center. One more each side. And then bring yourself back to center. Walk your feet closer to your body. Draw one knee at a time in. Draw the knees deeply into your chest and rock across the top edge of your pelvis. Feel that. It's a great way to relieve low back tension. Keep your knees in. Let's bend and unbend the legs. Now, if you want this to be a little easier, the knees are closer to the chest. If you want this to be more work, you bring your legs directly off of your pelvis. And if you want it to be even more work, you try to straighten your legs, your knees at the end. Lead with the heel, the center of the heel. So very strong action in the back of the legs, bringing some blood flow, stretching the tissue, the back of your legs. Center of the heel up towards the sky. Contract your core to stabilize your trunk. Preferably lower back is away from the ground, so you're really working on stabilization. And if you need, you bring your knees a little closer. That'll tilt your pelvis back and take some of that tension out of the low back. You could use your hands on the side to help you here as well. And then bring your legs up to the sky. So either straight legs, more intense, bent knees closer to chest to be a little easier. Yes, you feel your quadriceps here, working the hip flexors, working the quads. Inhale to point the feet strongly. Feel that stretch on the front of the foot. Exhale to flex. Center of the heel up towards the sky. Inhale, exhale. Contract your core, stabilize your pelvis. Feel the sacrum, the center of your pelvis, pressing into the ground. Hug your lumbar spine with your core. Inhale, exhale. And then slow ankles in one direction, slow ankles in the other. If it gets too much for your low back or your core, bring your knees closer to your chest or bend your knees. That will give you a little relief. And then bend your knees. That's great for strengthening quadriceps, which is really great for knee health. Let's lengthen one leg out. One knee is in. Really draw that knee towards your chest. Hold on to the shin or underneath the hamstring. Draw the knee in. So here, having your blanket folded, if you have a lot of tightness in your body, if you fold your blanket a little higher, it might make this a little easier, a little less strain on the low back. And then take your legs side to side. And then hold on to that knee and circle in one direction. Stabilize the pelvis with your core so you don't wiggle your core. This is only the leg moving in the hip joint. And then the other direction. Make sure you're not rocking your body. So you have to really activate your core for this. And then bend that knee, put that knee on the ground. Draw the other leg in. Clasp your hands, straighten that other leg. Draw your knee in, hold on in the shin or the hamstring, draw it in deeply, stretching that lengthened leg, so the hip flexor muscle group. This could be nice for low back relief when you have low back issues. One knee to a chest at the time can be a way to disrupt chronic tension of low back issues. And then begin to move that leg. Only moving. The torso is staying stationary. Leg in the arms. And then hold on to that kneecap. Circles. Motion is lotion. So this move is going to secrete fluids in your joint capsule. Opposite direction. Bring yourself back to center. Put that foot on the floor, bend the other knee. So I'd like to do a block to actually stretch the front of the body a little deeper. We're going to elevate the block on the pelvis. See if this is okay for you. Not too much of a fold behind your head. So if you did elevate your blanket, lower it a little bit for this one. This is a supported bridge posture. It's an inversion. The counterindication is for anyone with unmanaged high blood pressure. So if you have unmanaged high blood pressure, you don't want to elevate your pelvis above your heart or your head. If you have managed high blood pressure with medications, it's okay for those with managed high blood pressure. So walk your feet closer, lift your pelvis up, place your pelvis on the block. And then I want you to take some time to arrange yourself here. So you're going to push your feet into the ground, lift your pelvis, tilt your pelvis backwards. So you try to get the top edge of the pelvis to touch, and then let the pelvis level out. So that'll be doing some pretty deep stretching and kind of getting your pelvis to be aligned. So I feel more on one side when I do this than the other because of my hip replacement. More stretching on my natural hip side, probably working a little harder to balance my pelvis. And then you want to make yourself narrow across the top by pushing your arms in and sliding the shoulder blades towards each other. So you have that nice support here. You're not going to cave in your thoracic spine. And then the arms are down alongside your body. So see if this feels appropriate for you. You're going to explore contracting your core, protecting your low back, lengthening one leg, going beyond the range of motion of the hip flexor muscle group. One of those is a psoas that attaches onto the lumbar spine. So pay attention to whatever lengthened leg you have to that side of your lower belly area. Push your heart up towards the sky. Push your arms strongly into the ground to help activate the support of the upper trunk. Take one more breath. Bending that knee. Let's take the other leg straight. Go slow with eyes closed so you can feel your way into what's appropriate for you. Where's the weight in the block? Did it rock forward towards the tailbone? Really push the belly towards your pelvis to try to stabilize the pelvis, keeping the pressure in the sacrum and in the tailbone. Pressing your heart up towards the sky, protecting that extension curve in the low back. Feel the stretch. Breathe to the stretch. Take one more breath. So let's explore two legs at once. So take both legs straight, contract your core, stabilize your pelvis, press your heart up towards the sky. If you want to add arms overhead, you could try that. So to protect that low back curve, contract your core, push your belly towards your spine. Try to push your pelvis into the block so that you get towards the top of the back edge of the pelvis. Trying to press that into the block. Take one more breath. And then bend your knees. Supported bridge posture has been proven in studies to reduce blood pressure, to lower heart rate, lower blood pressure. So it's called an inversion, and it allows the blood flow, the volume of blood, to be greater in the upper area near the heart and the neck. And you have receptors in your neck and in the aortic arch that when the blood is a higher volume, it will slow down heart rate and blood pressure. So I would say that this is something to add to your toolbox for stress management, physically, physiologically, and then of course, mentally and emotionally. This is the lowest level of the block. You could actually come up to the next level, which is a higher inversion. Maybe okay for some of you. You're going to definitely stretch of the belly muscles and of the hip flexor muscles. Again, you could try
doing one leg at a time. For those of you that have that range of motion and that feels appropriate for you, couple of breaths. I like to close my eyes to feel my way into safe, appropriate movement for my body. One more breath. And then bring yourself out. So this is pretty much the maximum range I'll go, but I, in my 30s, go a little higher to the tallest part of the block. Will not be doing that anymore. But I will say that this actually gives me a beautiful stretch for my belly, for my hips, and my hip flexors. So great for pelvic health, hip health. I'm going to say knee health, because one of the hip flexor muscles is a quadricep that attaches onto the end of your knee. So for those of you with those issues, maybe practicing something like this often to keep your back, pelvis, hips, and knees healthy. So let's come off of this, walk your feet closer, come onto your tippy toes, lift your heels up, really bend all your toes and let all 5 toes touch. Don't just be on your big toe and second toe. So try to get all 5 toes to touch. Lift yourself up, come down to the lower level first. Let your body calibrate. And then let's take the block out to the side. Placing your spine gently back down onto the ground. And then draw one knee in and then the other. Go slow. Side to side. Let your feet come back down onto the ground. Feet are wider than the body. The knees fall in towards each other. That helps to bring relaxation to the back of the body, to the glutes, to the low back. Place your hands on top of your lower ribs. Close your eyes, take a couple of breaths here. Let your awareness go to your belly, to your low back, to your pelvis and your sacrum, and explore how that part of your body is feeling right now. Take one more breath. So this practice can be extremely healing, and we're also doing some pretty deep work. We're stretching joints, we're stretching ligaments, tendons, connective tissue. Be very in tune. You want to be mind body. You don't want to be throwing your bag of bones around without awareness, because you could injure yourself. So really always checking in, taking breaks between, and exploring what is a safe range of motion for you. You'll notice over time that you can actually increase whatever your range of motion is. And that is one of the most healing aspects physically of the practice of yoga. All right, let's stretch our feet and legs. Get your strap. Bring one foot in and take the strap on the foot. And then go up and down your foot with your strap. So create some heat along your foot. Your knee could be bent. Go really fast here and strong so you feel that heat pressing stuff back into the system that was in the sole of your foot. And then bring the strap onto the center of the foot. The knee is slightly bent. You could wrap your hands around the strap if you like, or just hold on. Bend your knee, inhale. Exhale, lead with your heel straight up towards the sky. Inhale to bend. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Stay here. And then leg is straight or bent. Guide the leg back towards the wall behind you. Try to keep that side waist long. So push the pelvis away from you. Push the leg away from you and then draw the leg towards the wall behind you. Feel a pretty strong stretch behind your hamstring. Close your eyes. Pull down on the strap, push away with your leg, pull towards the wall behind you. Take one more breath. Bring the strap into the opposite hand of whatever leg you have in the air. Bring the leg close to your body, so above the pelvis. Slight internal rotation, big toe turns inward. Be careful if you have a posterior hip replacement. If your incision is in the back or the side of your body. Then you're going to guide the leg slowly over towards the opposite direction. Try to keep the knee straight, feeling this pretty strong stretch right at the top of the pelvis, down the side of the leg towards the knee. This is your iliotibial band. Draw the leg closer to your body and over to the opposite direction. Close your eyes, breathe to the tension. One more breath. Push into the arch part of the strap. That should intensify the stretch. And then bring yourself back to center. Take the strap in both hands. Strap is in the arch. You're going to strongly pull on the strap that's on the inside, the arch part of your foot. Pull strongly. Let your foot bend. Your leg stays stationary. Your kneecap, your leg doesn't move at all. Your foot bends so that the sole of your foot faces inward. And then pull on the strap that's in the pinky toe edge. Arch, pinky toe edge. You're stretching your ankle joint, bending the foot and the ankle, letting your kneecap stay stationary, pointing backwards. And then come to a stationary position. Let's bend the knee, take the strap off, rest in between. The low back had to manage that. A lot of the muscles on that side of your body, the stabilizers, had to manage stabilizing your body while you were stretching. Let's draw the other leg in. Bring the strap on the arch, and then start to floss your foot. And then come to the center, the arch, holding on or wrapping your hands around, knee bent or knee goes to straight, doesn't matter. I want you to have your kneecap pointing and your toes pointing towards the wall behind you, so you could be really nice, aligned for good function, for proper function. Let's inhale and exhale. Inhale, you bend the knee. Exhale, you straighten or go towards straight. And then come to a stationary position. Knee could be bent or straight, kneecaps pointing back. You're going to draw the leg back towards the wall behind you and push the leg away from you with the muscles. Lengthen that side waist. Pull down with the strap, firm up the leg muscles, push the leg away. As much effort as you can handle. Pushing the leg away, drawing it towards the wall behind you, one more breath. And then bring yourself back to center. Take the strap in the opposite hand of the foot that's in the air. Draw the leg close to your body, so above your pelvis or even a little farther. Slightly angle your foot inward to big toe in. Posterior hip replacements, be careful because this is pressure on the posterior hip capsule. So this is my hip replacement side. That's why I'm very aware of this one. And then you're going to let your leg go over to the side, feeling the tension in the side of your leg. the more you push into the arch part of the strap, the more you intensify this stretch. Long waist, pushing that pelvis away from you with the muscles inside your body, away, long, and over. Close your eyes, deep breaths. Take one more breath. Bring yourself back to center. We're going to stretch the ankle joints. That's the only part of you that's going to move. Leg stays stationary. Kneecap points towards the wall behind you. Hold the strap, one in one hand, one in the other. Pull on the strap that's in the arch so your foot starts to bend, sole of the foot facing in the direction, the opposite direction of the leg that's in the air. Feel that stretch down the side of your leg. And then pull on the strap that's in the pinky toe side. You're going to get more bend going with the strap, pulling the strap into the arch. Feel that stretch on the side of the leg. Keep your leg stationary, only bending your ankle and your foot. And then bring yourself back to center. Let's bend the knee, take the strap off. Draw the knees into the chest, pretty deep, and rock side to side across the top of the back of your pelvis. And then bring yourself onto your side. Take your hand on the ground. Do not lead with your head, so pay attention to your head. Use your hands and your elbow to push strongly and let your shoulder lift you up. And you could use the top leg to help here. So this is like a piston that's going to kick away and give a little bit of momentum for you to really utilize the upper body to push away. Inhale, and then exhale to bring yourself up. Okay. So let's prepare the space. Take your strap off. Okay. All right. Let's take the blanket underneath, I guess, yeah, underneath. Blanket is underneath the knees. Come on to your knees and your hands. Take your hands forward. Fingers are pointing outward so that you're not loading in your wrist too much here. Start moving around in your body, stretching the hip joint, the inner thighs, the outer hip, going side to side. And then stretching the chest muscles, the shoulders, the back. Bring yourself back to center. Bring your body weight forward so you feel your hands and your wrists receiving your body weight. And then contract your core, protect your low back. Move your pelvis back. Inhale forward, exhale back. One more. Walk your hands back. Let's come all the way up. Shake your hands. Go in circles. And then open and close and bend your fingers. Look at your fingers. Make sure you're bending the top joint in the fingers. And then the second joint, and then the third. So do this like you're wah, 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 wah. So you bend the joint where the thumb and fingers attach. All right.
So let's come on to all fours. We're going to do spinal balance. Get a little indication for your balance, your stabilization strength in your torso. Let's slide the right hand away and the left leg away. All the toes of the left foot touch and all the fingers of the right hand touch. Look down at your left hand plate. Really press your fingers into the ground like crazy. Exhale. Inhale to lift the right arm and the left leg. Exhale to lower. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. And last one, you're going to inhale to lift and stay here. Turn your palm inward, thumb up towards the sky. Make sure your left leg is coming straight off your body. Contract your core, protect your low back. Reach long with your toes, long with your hand. This is a really good indicator of spinal balance, joint balance in your spine, strength of your back muscles for posture and alignment. If you want to challenge yourself, try taking the right foot off the ground. So the right knee is on the ground, right foot lifts. And if you want to explore a little more, take the left foot out to the side, right arm out to the side, and challenge your body to balance you in different ranges of motion or a different body weight distribution. And then bring yourself back to neutral, foot on the ground, reaffirm that nice structural aligned position, and then bring your hand down. Slide your right leg back and your left hand forward. Exhale, press your right hand into the ground and inhale to lift. Left arm, right leg. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale. Last one, you're going to inhale to lift. Press the right fingertips into the ground, left foot into the ground, long limbs. Left palm turns in, thumb up towards the sky. More challenge, lift the left foot off the floor. Explore body weight in different areas, so your core and balance receptors need to manage that. Really push the right fingertips into the ground to help with the right wrist. And then bring yourself back to neutral. And then bring yourself out, up. Noticing what you notice. That is a posture that is a really great indicator for you on your balance in your torso. So your proprioceptive nervous system, it also strengthens your core while you're doing that, and then the stabilizing muscles along the back, which are actually diagonal. The right lower back and the left upper back work together, and then opposite. This is why when we have an issue, like let's say in the right foot, maybe the left hip hurts. Or if you have an issue in your right shoulder, maybe your left knee will hurt because of that diagonal stabilization pattern that happens in the body. All right, shake your wrists, move your fingers. There was a lot of core work there in that. I'd like to do some footwork here. So flipping the toes under to stretch your feet. I'd like you to bring your feet closer together. And then if you're able to flip all the toes under, and if you're able to sit back, try to sit on your heels. I know that not all of you can. Don't force the issue. But one thing you could try is you could try to see if you could put a block between your tushy and your heels. Either all the way high or even low. So sometimes that can be something that you could do, or maybe even closer to your knee joint to see if you could let your femur bone help to support you in that. Or all the way back if you can. Only do what's appropriate, so don't go crazy. Don't force the issue. Then bring your block in front of you if you don't have, or actually we could do this with our hands. Bring your hands onto the ground. Come up onto your toes for those of you that can. Feet are together, it's a lot harder. This is a lot of balance, a lot of foot strengthening. So for those that your knees don't like to bend, you could do this in a standing position where you're on top of your toes like this. I call it air high heels, walking around in your toes. And then let's bring ourselves down. So I'd like to stretch the top of the foot. For some of you, you may need to do this up here. You could take a block, bring your foot back behind you, stretching that whole front of the leg, all the way up to where your leg attaches and then all the way down to the foot. For those who have knees that bend, you can come to sit on your knees and then lift one knee up. So the foot is on the ground and you're lifting the knee up, stretching the top of your foot. So it looks like this from the front. You're reaching down and you're lifting your knee away from the ground. Try to keep your body weight stationary or centered. Don't lean over to the side. So lift that knee up if your knees bend. Otherwise, be up tall and put the top of the foot back so the toenails are on the ground. I know. Stretching the top of the foot. Switch sides if you haven't already. And bring yourself out. Let's come on to all fours, flipping the toes under and pushing back. Even a little bounce here to stretch the calf, to stretch the Achilles tendon and the plantar fascia in the feet. A lot of issues arise here for many people, especially if you play tennis or pickleball. A lot of popped calves, torn calves, plantar fasciitis. Switch legs. Let your leg be a little wider, so it's not necessarily coming straight off of your body. Let it go out to the side. Really push back so you're stretching your calf. And then bring yourself through one side and then the other. And then bring yourself up. All right, so let's go on to a balance. We'll do the half moon balance, where we're going to be balancing on the hip joint at the side of the hip joint. So this actually gives you a lot of strength in your hip joint in a way that we normally wouldn't. And one thing that's important is, here's your pelvic bones. So imagine you have flashlights here. These are your hip lights, and then you have heart lights. So hip lights, heart lights. When we come up into this half moon, you want your hip lights and heart lights facing the same direction. So if your hip lights or heart lights point down towards the ground, you're more likely to fall out of this. So it's another challenge, another balance challenge. This time we're balancing in the hip joint. And so let me just show you. So this posture looks like this, or the back bend version is this. Hip lights and heart light are forward. So this is what we're going to be doing. Let's see how it goes for you. So you could have your block here to be in front of you if you need to lean on the block. Some people prefer to do that, having the block up high to lean on. Come with your hands in front of you. You choose whatever side you'd like. So whatever side you're going to be balancing on, you're going to slide that foot off to the side. So the foot is here, you just slide the foot, the kneecap stays on the ground. Then you start arranging yourself, either bringing yourself onto the block to bring yourself up, or doing this without the block. Bring yourself up so your foot is on the ground directly off your body, not forward. So directly off your body. Start to point your heart light and your hip lights both sides forward, especially the lower heart and hip forward. Bring your leg up to be parallel to your body. So if you want to look down and see it, that'll mess with your balance. If your wrist is sore, push your body weight more onto your standing leg, or come up onto fingertips. Arm up in the air. If you'd like to add a back bend, bend the top leg, bring the heel towards the tushy, reach back with the hand, hold on to the top of the foot, push your heart forward, keep your leg lifted, don't let that leg collapse, leave it lifted or activate it to lift. Heart and hips are forward. Take one more breath. Bring yourself back into half moon, and then bring yourself out gracefully. Bring yourself up. Rest in between, either up here for those non-bendable knees or down here for knees that still bend. Checking in with yourself. How are you feeling? Is this appropriate for you? And when we are up like this, we are adding weight. So when you do anything where you're on your hands and knees or kneeling, you're using weight. So it's usually deeper. The stretching that's taking place is deeper. The strengthening that's taking place is deeper. So being very aware of what's appropriate for you. So let's go over to the other side. You come onto all fours. The block could be there or whatever you need. The side that you're going to come onto, you slide that foot off to the side. Then you either use your block to push yourself up, or you bring yourself up with your core, contracting your core, lifting the leg, opening, rotating your trunk forward, heart light, hip lights forward, lift the leg, arm in the air, strengthening your hip, strengthening your side body to protect your knee joint, protect your hip joint. Looking down if you'd like to make sure your leg is there. And then whatever you need, if you need to push your body weight back towards your standing leg or come on to the fingers. If you want to explore the back bend, you would take that top leg and bend it. Reach back. Hopefully the foot is there or the top of, or the pants or the socks or something. Push your foot into your hands so you can add a back bend to the upper spine. Heart light, hip lights forward. Take one more breath. Bring yourself back into the half moon. And then slowly dismount gracefully. Come all the way out. Back to a resting position. It could be up here. This could be your resting kneeling mountain posture. Or you could come onto your heels. Close your eyes. Notice how your body's feeling at this point in the practice. Heart rate. And then open your eyes. We really are lucky that we get to do this. We really are lucky that we get to focus at this level on self-care and healthy aging for our joints, our muscles. We really are. All right. Let's come on to our kneeling. We're going to do lizard. Lizard is a deep stretch of the legs. It's weight bearing, so it can be really profoundly deep stretching for the pelvic area, which is going to release low back tension, the holding of the psoas onto the lower back, and then the whole hip flexor region, one of them being the quadricep. So you are weight bearing, you have gravity pushing down on you, so be careful. Use a block for this. So bring one foot forward, pretty far forward. See how far forward my foot is of my knee? And then I'm going to bend that front knee, bend that front hip, and load down into this. You could use a block here. That'll make it a little easier to weight bear on this. Or you could come down onto the block with two hands. You could come onto the block with one or two in shorter range. You could come into lizard on your hands, which is what this posture is for, or design. It's the, kind of the end expression. One thing I want you to be careful of is your tushy is not up here. This is not hamstring. If you bring your tushy up, you're going to go hamstring. It's that back leg, front of the back leg that you're stretching. Walk your the foot that's in the front, walk it over to the side, and then tilt it onto the pinky toe edge so the knee goes out to the side. Stretching that front inner thigh, stretching the low back, stretching the psoas and the hip flexors on the back leg. If you felt that you could go deeper, you could come onto forearms. Take one more breath. Let's bring yourself up, bring yourself all the way out. Kind of. Bring your foot so it's a little closer to your body. Let's do a little trunk rotation and do stretching the torso. So now the focus is from the top of your pelvis on up, turning your heart lights opposite of your hip lights. So you could have your block forward, hand on the leg, hand on the block. From here, you're going to lengthen your torso. So really stretch your torso here. And then rotate your heart lights over the direction of that front knee. Lift your rib cage away from your pelvis and then rotate. Keep trying to turn your heart lights to face in the direction of that front leg. Breathe down to your belly. Hopefully you feel a stretch on the side of your belly of the back leg. So the psoas, it's attached to your spine. Take one more breath. Let your heart lights come forward. Unbend your knee, the front knee anyway, back knee bends. Bring yourself out. Bring yourself into a rest position. Close your eyes and explore the level of appropriateness of what you just did for your body. One more breath. So let's go on to the other side, coming with the other leg. Oh, I'll do this side. Coming with the leg forward. Take your block on the ground if you're going to use it. Bring the foot forward, bending the front knee, lengthening the back hip joint, coming forward into lizard. Whatever variation is good for your body. You want a long torso, so don't bend your spine in this. Keep your head lifted. Don't let your head hang. Then walking your foot over to the side a little bit, that front foot, flipping on to the pinky toe edge. That knee could move out to the side. And you bring your hands wherever you need for your body. It's a lot of deep stretching in the pelvic area. So make sure it's appropriate. Take one more breath. You're going to bring yourself out and up with a long spine. We're going to come into that rotation. So walk your foot back a little, keeping your knee above your ankle. Block, so your hand can reach down on the block, hand on the front leg. Lengthen your torso, so no rounded spine. You want a long spine, and then try to turn your heart lights over that front leg. Rotation. Hopefully feeling a strong stretch right on the belly button side of the back leg, top of the psoas. So you add some spinal rotation, stretching the top part of the psoas. It's also the bottom part. It's the whole psoas. We're stretching the entire psoas here. your filet mignon. Breathe to your belly. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself back to center and then out. So either up here, if your knees don't bend, if your knees bend, bring the block between your ankles to sit on that. And then sit back in a supported hero's posture. Close your eyes, noticing what you notice in your body. And then open your eyes. Take your arms, inhale, and exhale to hug yourself. Inhale, shoulder blades slide towards each other, chest opens, feel that stretch in the chest, right around the arms. Exhale, inhale. Whatever your shoulders will let you do, start to go a little higher with your hands. Feel the belly stretch. And then bring yourself back to center. Take your hands on your shoulders, like the rotator cuff, which is 4 tendons. Rotator cuff in the shoulder is 4 tendons. So take the fingers and hold on to your shoulders. Elbows go straight out towards the side. Inhale. And then exhale, draw the arms down, bring the elbows towards each other. Inhale, elbows go up. Head goes up, chest opens, try to point the elbows up towards the sky, elbows out to the side, and then exhale, chin to chest, elbows up. Try to draw the lower ribs away from the pelvis, stretching your belly when you do this. Inhale, up. Make the biggest circles possible. One more. Bring yourself back to center. Let's stretch our neck, our upper back, release tension in the upper back or neck. So chin is parallel towards the ground. Push your head back. Teeth are touching. Exhale. Inhale. Let your head look as far as it will. Keep your torso stationary. Only the neck and the head are moving. Exhale back to center. Inhale. Exhale. Close your eyes. Last one. Bring yourself back to center. Open your eyes. The tip of your ear, you push it straight up towards the sky. Shoulders are forward, up, back, and they're down. Keep them there. Elbows are underneath your shoulders. Exhale. Inhale, push your ear straight up towards the sky. Exhale back to center. Inhale, straight up towards the sky. Let your eyes be forward. The tip of your nose is forward. Notice if you're swallowing anything. This is helping to move lymph through the system. A lot of lymphatic vessels are in the neck for immune health. Bring yourself back to center. Teeth are together. Inhale. Exhale, chin straight down towards your chest. Inhale, chin up towards the sky. Exhale, chin to chest. Eyes are closed. Inhale, chin up towards the sky. Last one. Bring yourself back to center. Close your eyes. Explore your body, every part of your body. Go to the places where you normally have issues. See how they're feeling. Check in on them. Knees, back, shoulders. Then open your eyes. So we're going to come into the posture of integration, allowing everything to settle. Like you're a snow globe that we just shook up and all the snow is everywhere. We're going to let that settle. We're going to use the block on the belly, blanket behind the head. So bring yourself all the way down onto the ground. Coming into a fully outstretched position, legs are as wide as the mat. Lift your shoulder blades away from the ground, slide them towards each other. Reach for your block, bring your block onto your belly. Hands are to the side. Stay connected to your breath. And try to let that block rise and fall with your breath.
Gently begin to deepen your breath. Bring movement into your fingers and your toes, your hands and your feet. If you have a block on your belly, walk to the side. Bending your knees in one at a time. Draw the knees in deeply, side to side, slowly across the top edge of your pelvis. Coming onto your side. Using your hand and your elbow, pushing away from the ground. Inhale and exhale to push. Bringing yourself into a seated position to close your practice. Bring the hands together. Press the hands strongly together and then press the thumbs towards the chest and press the chest towards the thumbs. Lengthen the back of your neck, sit tall. We'll close with a humming sound. Exhale, create a lot of space in your body. Inhale deeply. Bowing in gratitude. Thank you. Namaste. So it's really important that you treat this as a self-care practice, that you don't muscle your way through it or push your way or do anything that's inappropriate, because we are stretching some important aspects of our body, our joints, our muscles, our connective tissue. And if you go slowly and appropriately, you'll keep yourself strong and safe and healthy and mobile forever. All right. I feel so mellow. Well, I'm actually going to be driving today a few hours, so that's perfect. This practice will be perfect to set my body up for a long drive. All right. Oh, really? Was I gone for all of you? Nancy, did I say hi to you? I think I'm still here. Oh, good. Oh, good, George. You're welcome. Carolyn, I don't know if you saw, but I brought my fruits of my labor. Here's my watermelon. And now I'm thinking maybe I picked it off too early because this does not look like it was ready to go off. I've got 6 more, so I'm going to maybe wait for the other ones. Watermelon and tomatoes. And this is honestly probably 10 or 15% of what I have. All right. So thank you all for joining me. I hope you feel really good. It tastes like delicious. Well, I haven't tasted this one, but honestly, last year I had about 12 watermelons, and that was the first year I grew watermelons. Oh my gosh, there is nothing like a homegrown watermelon. It is ridiculous how sweet and delicious and perfect they are. So I just feel so proud. And I was telling them, Carolyn, I swear to gosh, it weighs, I don't know, maybe 10 pounds. It's so heavy, full of water and yumminess. So anyway, all right. Have a wonderful day. And until we meet again, goodbye. Good, Stevie. Nice to hear that. Yeah. All right. Bye, everyone. Set up on a stand, please. Oh, what do you mean? My tomatoes? You're welcome, Jennifer. I don't know what you mean. Set up a stand, please. Oh, a stand to sell them, like farmer's market. You know what I do, Lynn? I roast them. And I roast them with a little bit of salt and olive oil and herbs. And I've got lemon verbena, rosemary, oregano, lemon thyme, regular thyme, basil, all growing. So I put all that in there and I roast them. And you know, it's so delicious to have roasted tomatoes. You put them all in a pan, you roast them, let's say 400 for about 40 minutes. It takes a lot of juices out of the water and it concentrates the flavors.
And then at the very end, if you eat dairy, you could put like those little mozzarella balls like for the last few minutes. So it kind of melts, but not 100% melts. So you've got these red, and I have like red and yellow. I mean, I love a lot of different flake colors, and I do like heirloom. So these are one of my favorite. When you cut them open, they're orange and red. And then this one here, different colors inside. And then you see these beautiful tomatoes with like a little bit of melted mozzarella with herbs. Oh, so delicious. Use gluten-free crackers. Don't use gluten crackers if you're going to do that. All right, great. Yeah, do the roasted tomatoes, Lynn. It's also great with fish. I did fish the other day, cod, wild cod, and I put some of my tomatoes. I have these green, not green zebras, but they're green cherries, and they're so delicious. So anyway, all right. All right, well, that's the cooking lesson, and that's the yoga lesson for the day. Bye, everyone.